Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made this marble and satin and sheen wedding cake that was decorated with artificial flowers. And I'm also going to tell you how to make your artificial flowers the right size to fit your cake. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and put a crumb coat on our tiers. This, as you saw, is a 4-tier cake. Now, I'm not going to show you all the steps of all the tiers. I'm going to give you the general idea of what I did with all of them. And this is the crumb coat. The cakes were already filled. And a crumb coat is basically just locking in those crumbs. Then you chill your cake till it is firm and dry to the touch. And then you can do your final coat of buttercream. And this tier had been chilled, so now it is ready to be frosted. And I just used a piping bag to pipe that frosting on, just to eliminate bubbles and to help keep the thickness of the buttercream the same thickness from top to bottom, which will keep your sides level. Now I put that in the refrigerator to chill while I work on my fondant. 2 of the tiers are going to have black fondant throughout the entire tier, covering the entire tier. So I'm cutting a disc for the top of the 8-inch and the 12-inch cakes. So this is basically just pre-colored black fondant that I rolled out to about a quarter of an inch thickness. And I'm just kind of cutting off any excess fondant that I know is going to be way more than I need. And I'm just setting those to the side until I'm ready for them. And now I obviously am ready for them. There is a little bit more time in between here that I have edited out. So this tier was fresh out of the refrigerator and chilled. And I just put some shortening on top of the tier, on top of the buttercream, the firmed up buttercream, before I attached that fondant to it. Then I just flip it upside down and I cut off the excess around the outside edge. I know it's upside down, but it will be turned right side up, I promise. And then I do the same thing for the bottom tier, and I'm just making sure that there are not any air bubbles trapped in underneath that fondant. On this one, I'm not turning it upside down because this tier is too big for me to lift upside down. So I'll show you how I deal with that in a minute here. And what I'm doing is I had cut or rolled out my fondant so it's long enough and tall enough to wrap around my tiers. Now, I know I'm going to leave a little bit of length and a little bit of height because I can trim that off. It's easier to cut off extra than it is to add more or to try to get your fondant to stretch. And both of those I push to the side, and I'm going to roll them up this time to transfer them on. Instead of leaving them to sit to firm up necessarily, like I typically do, I just went ahead and I put some cornstarch on it and I rolled it up on itself. The cornstarch on that top layer, or the top of the fondant, is going to keep it from sticking to itself when it's rolled up like that. Then I just lifted it onto the fondant, onto the buttercream, which has some more shortening brushed on there, and that shortening is going to get it to stick to the buttercream. Then I just cut and remove my excess fondant. And I just line both sides up together and smooth them together. Now that seam is going to be covered by the angled piece of fondant that's going to go on top of it. So I just cut off that extra with a sharp knife, flip it right side up, and then I push the fondant out to meet the side. And just make sure that all those air bubbles are removed and chill it in the refrigerator again. Now I'm cutting out, I did the same thing for the bottom. Actually, no, I lied. I'm not getting to that yet. Right now, I'm doing the method of transferring some fondant onto the board so that it's continuous black fondant over onto the board too, to kind of tie it all together. I didn't want to have a white board and then a black tier. I wanted it to flow together better. So I just rolled that out into kind of a crescent shape. This technique is from Little Cherry Cake Company. This is not my creation, but it's really a great way to transfer, to cover that board. And there's a little shortening on the board too to get your fondant to stick. And then I just cut the excess off the bottom. Now here, I did not show you the marbling, but I will attach a link to a video where I show you that marbling. Basically, you just use some gray fondant, some black fondant, and some white fondant, and you roll them together, twist them together, and just roll and twist until you get it the marbling you want. And then I added some extra lines of fondant to get some more, I kind of wanted everything to be basically at a diagonal. And I thought that the look I got already was kind of a diagonal flow within the marbling, but I wanted to make it a little bit more obvious by adding those strips of black. And they ended up being a little wider than I wanted when I rolled it out. So I just used some extra of that marbled fondant that I had cut off and just kind of rolled it out and cut it and ripped it into pieces and covered up part of the black. And then I added that white also just to kind of make it a little more cohesive. And I cut it to size, and my offcuts I just stuck together, and I'm rolling them out to make my disc for the top. I'm just adding extra pieces. It doesn't really matter if they flow together real well because you're not going to see much. And then I flipped it upside down to do the same thing that I did on the other tier. And I just lifted that fondant onto it. That did have some time to sit and firm up before I did this. So it's not going to stretch and pull. Now we're making our diagonal pieces. I only wanted these to wrap around about halfway around each of my black tiers. And I'm using, I don't know if you can see it on that quilting ruler where there's already a diagonal line on it. So I'm using that as my guide on where to cut that diagonal. These pieces were rolled out again to about 1/4 of an inch thickness. I did debate on if I was going to have my diagonal lines on each tier, on the 2 tiers, the opposite of each other, but I thought it would flow better if they were the same and if the marbling went with that same flow of the diagonal. So that's what I went with. And I'm just doing the same thing with the measurements of the bottom tier, which is going to be wider or longer because the tier is bigger. So the exact same angle on both ends. Use those quilting rulers. Those are great. I do have those linked in my favorites list in the description below on my favorites supplies that I like to use on Amazon. Now each piece did sit out to dry for a little bit, maybe about a half an hour. And then I'm just adding some shortening to the piece itself instead of covering the whole tier because I want it to be kind of a flat satinish finish on part of it and then shiny, high gloss on the other. So I didn't want to add any shortening to the entire fondant tier because that would kind of defeat the purpose of having flat and high sheen. So I'm cutting off the excess off of the top there with just a sharp blade, and since it had time to set up, it cuts off very easily. And do the same thing with both of those tiers. Now I'm showing you how I'm adding that super high gloss finish. I don't want to get this on the tabletop or on my turntable because I'm using confectioner's glaze and it sticks to everything. So I just added water, sprayed water on the table, and then put the saran wrap down, and that makes it stick to it. And to get that saran wrap to stick to or to stay on the cake, I just used pins and then used my confectioner's glaze. And I did I did 2 thinner coats is what I did. Because your first coat's going to still seem a little bit more of a satin at that point. I guess it's better to call it flat to super sheen. So I did put them in the refrigerator to dry, and then I did a second coat on both of them. And when I remove that saran wrap, you can see the difference between the two. Now I know there is some cornstarch still on the fondant, but we will take care of that in a minute. I just love that. I love the difference between the two together. Now these artificial roses that I had were way too big. And I want the ends of the cascade to taper down to a smaller side. So I basically just removed the bottom part, and pulled off the stem, stick it back in there, and I removed some layers of petals. Easy peasy. Now to remove the cornstarch, I'm using a clean, dry towel. And I'm just kind of rubbing that extra cornstarch off of the surface. Being careful not to touch the confectioner's glaze. It wouldn't really hurt it, but it might dull the shine on it a little bit. So I was very cautious not to touch that at all. Now I'd cut all of my supports to the same height. On bigger tiers, I like to use the bigger plastic supports on the outside 5 stars. I use a star cutter to mark the points, so I like to use the bigger plastic ones on the outside edge. And then I like to use the regular boba tea straws as an interior ring inside of those. And that's where I'm inserting those here. I use 5 of those as well. Push them down, then I add some buttercream to get my next tier to stick. And all of these tiers I can kind of basically lift up with my hands, as long as I'm careful with the other black tier not to touch that confectioner's glaze. Keep in mind when you're stacking these tiers to figure out where the front of your cake's going to be so that you can make sure your lines all flow together. That top tier is just buttercream, and it was just chilled in the freezer so that I could lift it up. Now this dowel rod is about 1/4 of an inch thick, and I just had sharpened the end with a pencil sharpener so that it would go through all of the layers or all of the boards and straight into the cake drums at the bottom. Now I'm attaching these flowers just with some buttercream. The stems are wrapped with some floral tape so that they stay food safe. And I just kind of start with the middle and then I go out from there, keeping your smaller flowers towards the top and the bottom. Kind of stagger them a little bit so there's a little bit of a flow to them, so it's not just a straight line. And here's our finished product. I hope you like the contrast of the high sheen against the flat as much as I do. I think it really is a very high-end kind of finished look. So I hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something from it. Hope you got something you can use. And just a reminder, guys, keep an eye out. I need to start spreading the word that I am working really hard on these courses, these online courses that can be bought hopefully before Christmas. So keep your eyes open. I'm working hard on it, guys. I promise I am hard at work. So we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.